ladies and gentlemen. He's waiting calmly and carefully, as always. We like to say that, and he is a first-time guest on Job on the Mouth. We are now talking to WFAN Yankee postgame host, SNY Yankee analyst, and Fox Sports college basketball broadcaster, EMMANUEL BERBARI. What's up, Manny?
What's up? Thanks for having me. That's a great graphic right there. I'm honored to be on, and yeah, that's a really nice. I'm like hovering over Yankee Stadium right there, which is nice. Thanks for having me, guys.
Did anybody ever tell you that you look sexy there? I mean, did your mom ever said you look sexy in that picture? I mean, that picture's been all over social media. So, and you're wearing these nice suits. Where did you get this style? I mean, who taught you how to dress like that?
You know, no one taught me. I just throw it together, and if you think that looks sexy, you know, we're even more friends than I thought.
I will say the lapel matching your tie, solid. That's the very underrated look.
Yeah, and what's funny is like I have such a lack of knowledge for fashion that I didn't even plan that. It's just by chance that the lapel matched the tie. So I appreciate that it came off that way.
You know, it's interesting when people watch this show and they say, "Well, Errol wears these like tank tops," and you look at guys like Mr. McAfee, who's been doing that for a long time. He copied me because I've been doing this a lot longer than Mr. McAfee, and Pat's been doing it for, ever since he started, and everybody says it's his style. He took the style from me. I'll never get credit for it, but we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you. We're here to talk about the Yankees. And the New York Yankees fell short once again this year, but it wasn't because of Aaron Judge. He hit 500. He did what he was supposed to do. It was really because of this lousy pitching staff in the playoffs. Max Fried choked. Rodon choked. And this is what the Yankees invested in. They invested into pitching in the offseason. They added Bellinger. Bellinger really didn't do anything like we thought he was going to do in the playoffs. When all season long he was hitting over 300 against lefties, he was one of the best left-handed hitters in all of baseball. What do you think happened to the Yankees? Why did the Yankees fall short?
I think what you said is perfect. Like, if I went into that Toronto series and you asked me if the Yankees lose, what's going to happen, I never would have predicted that the starting pitching would be that poor against the Blue Jays. Now, they struggled against Toronto all year, but Fried and Rodon, when you think about what they gave the Yankees in the regular season, especially in a year without Gerrit Cole, that was astronomical stuff. They made every single start. They were two of the best pitchers in baseball, let alone two of the best left-handers in baseball. Rodon had by far his best year as a Yankee. Fried had as good of a first year as you could have getting that big of a contract. And against Toronto, those two starts were the two worst Fried-Rodon starts we saw all season. There's no start you could pull up. You go up the game logs, you can watch any start this year. There's no Fried and Rodon start that was as bad as what we saw against the Toronto Blue Jays. So you can talk about the lineup. Yeah, Aaron Judge didn't have a lot of help in this postseason. It was different in that he hit and everyone else really didn't hit. But you can't win with that type of pitching. They allowed 34 runs in 4 games. You're not going to win a series that way.
With Gerrit going out and you obviously being around it and we see it from afar, what kind of impact did he have from the other side of it? Because, it sucks when you can't be in there, especially a guy that loves to compete like he does. Did you notice, was there a different passion or a different perspective that he tried to take, being that he knew he wasn't going to back? And then obviously with Cam coming in, doing what he did he play a bigger role than you guys anticipated just from the competitor that he is? Or did you think it was going to go the way it did?
That's a really good question because Gerrit Cole has always liked to teach, but it's easier to teach when you're part of the starting rotation, right? And you're that ace and that guy that people lean on and that veteran. And then it's like, all right, I'm out all year. Now I'm around the team more down the stretch. How much can I share? How much do I feel comfortable sharing? So I think he did a good job striking the balance, and he was a big reason why the starting pitching finished as well as it did up until the postseason. And for guys like Schlittler and even Warren, he was a big part of their growth and development this year. But I think he felt more comfortable as he started to, because a lot of this year was rehab for him and making sure he got over the initial hump. And then once he started to be a little bit more part of the fabric down the stretch, I think his voice started to get heard almost as much, not all the way there, but almost as much as if he was that ace leading the rotation. So I think he made a big impact. But at a certain point, you just got to leave things to chance. And Toronto was a better team this year, and I think that's why you saw the pitching, not maybe to that level, but fall flat in the postseason. But Gerrit Cole was a huge impact, I think, especially the final 4 or 5 weeks of the season.
So impressions of Schlittler, obviously the postseason is where he broke out kind of from a national standpoint, but he's pitched really well the first 3 months since he came up with the Yankees. What were your thoughts on him?
He's really impressive, man. I think the sky's the limit with what he can do. And Aaron Boone said this, and I agree with this assessment. His floor is really high. Like when you throw 101 with ease, you're only going to get hit by so many teams. So I think we saw a lot of that his first few starts, as the league hadn't really seen him before. And yeah, he'd get hit a little bit, but his floor was 5 innings and 2 runs. That's a good start. And I think that's what made you so excited about him. And I also liked how he adjusted second times facing teams. Like the first team he faced twice, I think it was Tampa. He pitched almost a perfect game. He was through 6 2/3, I believe. Perfect innings against Tampa the second time through. So that makes you excited, like his adjustments against a particular given lineup. And then I was fully confident going into the postseason, given his confidence, his demeanor, like his makeup that they talk about is so good. It checks every box. I thought he'd have a good start against Boston, minimum. But, that's not one of the best starts we've ever seen from a rookie pitcher in the postseason. That's one of the best I've ever seen from anybody in the postseason. So he's special. I think a lot of things have to go right to have a prolonged career. You need health. You're going to need a lot of things to go your way. Like it's not all up to you, but if everything, goes as according to plan, I think he'll be anchoring this rotation for years to come.
Is he as big in person as he looks on TV?
Yeah, he's imposing. I think he has that perfect, pitcher's, I guess, frame where he's kind of tantalizing in that he's not overly muscular, but he's tall, he's lean, and I'm sure if you're facing him as a hitter, he explodes at you because what is he, 6'6"? So
you've been closer than we have.
Yeah, no. When I walk up to him in the clubhouse, and I'm 6'5", you should know that about me.
He's
but
tall.
I'm not.
He's tall.
I'm not
I was
athletic.
about to say.
Yeah, I'm not athletic. I can kind of be eye to eye with him, but he's like. What I'm saying about his athletic frame is he's so much more of a guy you look at and say, whoa, like that's a guy I don't want to face.
Wait a second, Manny. You're not going to give yourself any credit for any kind of athletic ability?
I can't give myself credit. Yeah. Especially we're talking about me walking up to Cam Schlittler in the clubhouse. I can't be like, oh, I'm 6'5" and he's 6'6". No, let's see here. 6'6", 225. I'm 6'5", like 210, but a lot less muscle than Cam Schlittler.
You got those like thin stilt legs. He's got.
Yeah.
I got it. I got what you're saying. By the way,
that's why he can throw. That's why he can outside of the athletic gifts. That's why he can throw 101 and I would throw like 68.
Well, if anybody doesn't know who we're talking about, we're talking to WFAN's Yankee postgame host, SNY's Yankee analyst, and Fox Sports college basketball broadcaster, Emmanuel Berbari. I want to get into the Aaron Boone saga because a lot of people hate Aaron Boone. I don't know why they hate him, because if you look at what he has done as a Yankee manager, he's been successful. He hasn't won a World Series. Joe Girardi won 1 World Series in 2009. Joba knows all about it because he was a part of that. But he's never won a World Series. But if you look at his record, you look at his consistency, he's one of the most consistent managers in the major leagues. You would say in Yankee history, he's one of the top 5 managers of all time. When you look at his back end of what people are saying on the back end and what he is, what you see as a manager, why do you think people don't like him? Why do you think people want him gone?
Yeah, I think it has less to do with everything you laid out and the fact that he can manage his team and manage it effectively. And behind the scenes, he does. But when you're the Yankee manager, Joba knows this. We all know this. You're in the hottest of spotlights. And if you don't win, naturally, you could be anybody. The criticism is going to come your way, and he just hasn't gotten over that highest mountain. And a lot of Yankee fans, even the youngest ones, long for the days of 2009 and how dominant that team was, and some postseason magic that's been elusive in recent years. So he can manage his team. He can manage it effectively, and we've seen it in their ability to get to the postseason. And I think personally, there's only so much he can do. Other years, it's just been there are better teams in the American League. Like those years against Houston, they were better. So you can only manage what's given to you. And I think 2024, we saw a team that was on paper the best team in the American League. And they went out and went to the World Series and lost to the Dodgers. We all know what happened in that series. This year was interesting because I think you could have made the case the Yankees were the best team in the American League. But Toronto had some secret sauce where they had the right balance of players. Sometimes you can't quantify it. There's a special, it factor with the group. I think Toronto has that right now. And they have the right balance of superstar and role player, and they all know their roles and they're playing it. So you look on paper, Toronto's not better than the Yankees. But are they the better team right now? Absolutely. Aaron Boone can only do so much about that.
Manny, here's the secret sauce. It was Jazzism, okay? That was the secret sauce. Joba shakes his head. I don't call him Chisholm. I call him Jism because this man goes out there week in, week out. He has his own appearance, his own thoughts with his thick chain, his manipulation, and he goes out there. We're the best. We have the best defense. We have the best this. We're this. We're that. We're the best. We're going to win a World Series. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then when it goes to the big game and the mistakes that this man makes, he doesn't get put center stage. And who takes the responsibility for that? Aaron Boone does. And I'm going to go back to Alex Rodriguez and Derek Jeter after that game. Right. They didn't blame Jazz. They went after Brian Cashman. They went after, Aaron Boone. And saying that Aaron Boone should have put him in a better position and this and that and probably speak up and speak to Jazz, not to open his mouth when he's out there and he's speaking to the press the way he does. There's just so much here, and they got to pay this guy in the offseason. And I just don't want him. I don't want him on my team. If I was the manager of this team or the GM of this team, I don't want him.
Yeah, I wouldn't assume they're going to pay him in the offseason. If I had to give you a gut instinct right now, there's a short-term marriage, not a long-term marriage between Jazz and the Yankees. I'm not saying it can't happen, but are you really – this guy's going to make big money. You look at his numbers and you look at the type of player he can be and also what he can do in a walk year, especially if he's motivated to go out and get that contract. I think this is perfect for the Yankees in terms of cashing in on this walk year. I think he's going to have a massive season this year and go out and get a contract. But who's going to give him that contract? This might get out of hand for what the Yankees are comfortable paying their second baseman. But yeah, the question becomes, you can have players like Jazz on your team, but how many of them? There's a balance with everything. And Jazz, sometimes I think you're looking at a guy who's ultra talented and can do a million things at an elite level on the baseball field, but is it consistent? Is it coming in the right situations? Is he taking what the situation's given to him? Runner on third, less than 2 outs. What is he trying to do? How's he approaching that at bat? So I don't know. I like a guy like Jazz because he's very fun to watch at times, very talented. He can go on these hot streaks, but it really depends on how you want to build your team. And there's only so much room for players like him. You can only have so many of them.
Well, if you listen to this show, you know I don't like him. And I'll tell you this, because I know Joba loves this guy. I know, he shakes his head, but he has this, love fetish for him. I don't know what it is, but you can ask him. I don't get it.
Good player.
We talk about it all the time. If you look at a 162 replica of what the season would be, he was the best second baseman in baseball. It's just, and I'm going by that. And yes, were there times where he opened his mouth, but I think you're 100% right where you have to have the pieces of the puzzle, right? We brought in Swisher, and that was a piece of the puzzle that is kind of Jazz-esque in that, I guess, situation of however you want to look at it. But you can't have too many of them because it's just it doesn't work. You have to have the bits and pieces of, is he going to get paid? Yes, 100%. Are they willing to pay it? But also, I think there's so many other pieces of that puzzle that have to come together to figure out where this team wants to get and what they're going to do. So my question is, where in this offseason, where do you think they attack first? Because for me, there's a lot of ways they could go about it. Do you make Belly a priority? Is that something that you do? Do you go look for somebody? Do you try to reinforce the pen? You don't know what's going to happen there. So there's, this is every team. We're not just talking about the Yankees, but where do you think, let's put it to the way, where would you go, right, and where do you think they will go?
Yeah, really good question. So, I like the Swisher comparison because that added some juice. You know it being in there to that team, and also like Swisher was a guy who wasn't batting fifth; he was batting eighth, and like that's where you could utilize a guy like Jazz in a great way, where he's hitting in near the bottom of your lineup. That's a great player and a great piece for your team. So I think it's all how you build it out and the different components. I'm going to give you what they're going to do and what I would do. I think they're going to re-up Cody Bellinger, and I have no problem with that. I think he was a really good Yankee, sort of a match made in heaven when he arrived this year, and he can play four positions really well defensively.
Underrated, too, defensively, I think.
Underrated, which is rare. He can run the bases real. But I think there are some questions. Okay, he's not old, but he's a little older than some of the other options out there. How does he project long-term? Are you going to give him a 6-year deal? Where's the Yankees cutoff? I wouldn't call it a slam dunk they re-sign him, but I think they want to re-sign him. It's all going to depend on the market and where it goes. And, of course, he's repped by Boris, so he's probably going to get top dollar coming off this year. What I would do, I think Kyle Tucker is a better player. I think that swing fits perfectly in Yankee Stadium. That's a guy who complements Aaron Judge super well in the lineup. And I'm not sure how many – I thought after 2022, Judge would never have another 62-homer type season again. I'm like, he'll have good years, but he'll never have that type of year. Well, 2 years since 2022, he's had a better, more well-rounded season than he even had in 2022. So I'm not sure exactly when his prime is going to expire, but I want a guy to hedge that. I like a Kyle Tucker type. When Judge starts to decline, I think Kyle Tucker's still in his prime, and you could have him right alongside Judge in that outfield. And that's the Yankee of old type of move where you have the best player on the market, you go and get the best player on the market, and go all in for that championship. Not to say Bellinger can't do it. I think they probably will end up re-signing Bellinger, but I would go really big and try to get Tucker in here.
See, Manny, we see eye to eye here. We see eye to eye here because I've been saying this all season. Go get Kyle Tucker. I don't care what he did in the second half. I don't care what he did in the last month. I care about what he can do in Yankee Stadium with that unbelievable bat. You put him behind, you put him in front of Aaron Judge. You're talking about a middle of a lineup that you're going to have to pitch to one of these guys. And I agree with you.
How about this one? So they're not going to do this, but here's what I would do. You have a lot of money coming off the books this year. You have a lot of payroll flexibility. I understand you maybe have a lockout looming, so some owners might be tentative to go crazy in this offseason. But a 2009 style Yankee offseason, go re-sign Bellinger and add Tucker. You know, Bellinger is just retaining. That is keeping your team as is. So you're hoping things roll back the same way. Tucker's an addition. I hesitate to go into an offseason saying our big move is going to be Cody Bellinger because you already had that guy. You know, that's part of your team. If you want to improve on what you did. So I'm not saying it's going to happen. What I would do, though, with a lot of money coming off the books this offseason, if you could grab both, great. If not, you have to decide between Dominguez and Spencer Jones who's going to play every day next year. Because if one of them is not playing every day, I'm sorry, they have to get traded.
Get rid of Dominguez. I don't want to see him anymore. I'm done with, what do they call him, the Martian? I've seen enough.
Oh, okay. Tell me, as you've covered baseball long enough and we've been fans, don't you have to do something to earn a nickname like the Martian? I don't know the kid. I think he has tremendous talent.
Right.
But I'm old school. Like, you've got to earn the name, right? Like, I don't care what you did in minor leagues. You got to earn that because that's a dope nickname.
It's a great nickname, and I think we're all in agreement. You got to earn a nickname like that. In his defense, this nickname, I think it was a Jeff Passan article back when he was 16 years old when the Yankees initially signed him. And I don't know where it came from, but he got dubbed the Martian. It was maybe in the article or somebody had given him that name on the side, and Passan looked into it. Like,
yeah, because I think it's because it's billed, right? Because
I almost feel for him. He got billed the Martian at 16 years old before he had played a professional game. And I like he's getting these comparisons to Mickey Mantle. Like, who gets compared to Mickey Mantle at 16 years old? So this guy could end up being a really good major league player, maybe not a star. He could be solid. He could be good. And I look at it, when you sign somebody at 16 years old, they turn into a good major league player. That is a major success. A lot of guys flop. A lot of guys don't turn into good players. So the fact you're like putting these Mantle-esque expectations on him, he's handled it well. He has a good head on his shoulders, Dominguez, but it's unfortunate that got labeled that early because people started setting these sky-high lofty expectations.
Joba.
All right, quickly, because I know you got to go soon. What is your World Series pick, and who wins World Series MVP?
Ooh. All right. So I'm going to be pulling for Toronto a little bit. Like it's an awful matchup for Yankee fans. Like it's a team that beat you in a division rival and a team that beat you last year.
It's not much better for Mets fans. I have to root for Max Scherzer and Chris Bassett or the Dodgers.
Donnie Baseball.
It's that all the way around, but I like the Toronto people. I have some people like broadcast-wise that are really good friends, and I would like to see them get a ring. So I'll be rooting for them in the upset. It'll also be a nice story if they upset the Dodgers. But I don't see them winning this series. I think the Dodgers are just they're a juggernaut. They're too good right now. The pitching between Snell and Yamamoto and Glasnow and what Ohtani did, that's a game of the ages. And Sasaki's closing games. It's ridiculous right now what the Dodgers are. I don't think it's going to be a rollover situation. People are saying like Dodgers in 4, Dodgers in 5. No way. I think Toronto's pesky enough and they have enough fight. This series will go like 6 games, maybe not 7, but 6 games. But I see the Dodgers winning the series, and Ohtani will be the MVP.
Oh,
he hasn't hit all postseason. I'm a big law of averages guy.
Yeah.
Like he didn't hit all postseason, game 4, and has a game of all time. That to me is a carryover. He's going to have a massive World Series.
Manny, I consider you a friend now, and you just upsetted me. I mean, you had to, you and Joba. Joba has been absolutely killing me on this show. We go back and forth with Aaron Judge and Ohtani. Who's the best player in the league? I got Judge. He's got Ohtani. I've made my points. He's made his points. And I don't want to hear this guy. I don't want to hear about Shohei Ohtani anymore. I want to be done with this.
I was a little Ohtani'd out after a while because like Ohtani. You got to appreciate the talent first and foremost. And number two, when you hear it all the time, I compare it to being a Jet fan, which I unfortunately am.
Well,
and after years of Tom Brady just steamrolling you, you're not mad at Tom Brady anymore. You're just like, we stink, and this guy's great. So there's a Tom Brady moment for Shohei Ohtani where I watch him in Game 4 against the Brewers. I'm like, I'm tired of complaining about him. He's so good. I just have to appreciate it.
Well, hold on, Manny. Hold on.
I hate saying it's a rollover moment for me. This is a Tom Brady moment for Shohei.
Tom Brady? You bring up Tom Brady. We just had Rob Ninkovich on the show the other day. He went back and forth with me. He loves the fact that I'm a Jet fan. And we went back and forth. He made some jokes. He was part of the butt fumble. He brings up Mark Sanchez after Mark Sanchez just got arrested and could go to jail. I mean, I just can't catch a break as a Jet fan. Every single time. It doesn't matter if I have a Patriot on this show or I have some other player from the Giants on this show.
Or Lorenzo Alexander.
Oh, Lorenzo Alexander.
You know what? We got to figure out how to complete a pass first, and then we can talk about everything else.
I've got it. I was
at the game this weekend, and that was the worst football game I've ever watched. Yeah, 13-6 against the Carolina Panthers. It doesn't get much worse than that. So I'm all into your misery about the Jets, and I'm tired of hearing about all these guys. We got to figure out how we can get a quarterback on the field who can complete like a basic pass.
I've got an answer.
And then we can take step 1 towards restoring this.
You ready? Here's the answer for all ages. You guys ready? I'm going to give you the lowdown before Manny goes. And Manny, we could talk off air. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. His name is Fernando Mendoza. I have said this. Josh has been saying it. That is the guy. Jets, don't screw this up. Don't win a game and put us in a position where we don't get the guy. This always happens.
Keep Aaron Glenn just for the sake of going 0-17.
100%.
Yeah, like don't do anything stupid here like you did last year, firing Salah in Week 5. What was it? Keep Aaron Glenn, go 0-17, and then get your pick at the quarterback. Because at this rate, if you keep everything in place, they're going 0-17.
100%.
So keep it that way.
I agree with you. Keep Aaron Glenn, and if you look at Aaron Glenn and compare him to Robert Saleh, as everybody says this is the all-time worst coach, Aaron Glenn, besides 2 games, is in every single one of the games, and he doesn't have a quarterback that can complete a pass. That says a lot about Aaron Glenn as a head coach. That's all I'm going to say.
Let's get him a quarterback. Mendoza. Get him Mendoza and go from there.
Love you, Manny. We'll talk to you soon, and we'll get you on the show again. You're fantastic. Yeah. Keep up the good work, and we'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate you guys. Good to see you. Have a good one.
Emmanuel Berbari. He's fantastic. Fantastic, great personality. Does a great job on SNY and WFAN and Yankees. He's great. He really is. He's a good guy. And I got a chance to speak to him a little bit. And it was funny how we bumped into each other. We were at Flynn's. It was at the last day Flynn's was open. And he was walking around. I knew who he was, and it was just funny. It was just a funny thing. There were a lot of MSG people there working for MSG, SNY. I'm like, I know her. I know him. And I'm like, why is everybody here? And then I figure out why everybody's there. Miley Cyrus's sister was DJing that day at the place. And I'm like, and she's not very good, by the way. She looks just like Miley, by the way. But not the best DJ. I might have to teach her a thing or two. I just, that's all I'm going to say. Joba wants to see the P's and the Q's or whatever he calls it, and the C's and the D's. Joba, anytime you want to come and watch me, and I'm going to send you a mix. You tell me your favorite music. I will mix it for you. And I like
all music.
You like all music, but what is your favorite? I mean, you got to give me some. You like house music?
I like any. I mean, if you're putting a mix together, then show me what you got. You should be able to give me something that's good.
I like that.
All right.
I like that. Challenge him to
show
make
me
him
what
a
I
mix.
got. Show me what I got. Okay.
What do you got, kid?
I'll show you what I got. Speedy doesn't have much in his pants, but Anyways, that was Manny Berbari. He was fantastic. Thank you to him for joining us.